Hi, this is Janine Miller, and you are watching Pieces of Victory. Today we have on our show Alley Wedge. Alley is a survivor of a lockdown residential program called Circle of Hope Girls Ranch, located in Missouri. It is horrifically open today. Alley endured 4 years of torture in this compound. 4 years. She is in the midst of a possible movie with Polestar Productions. She is an activist amongst the survival community. And she is brave enough to tell her story of what happened behind closed doors in this lockdown facility. Please welcome to the show, Miss Alley Wedge. Alley, thank you so much for joining Pieces of Victory. It's so nice to have you on the show.
Nice to be here too.
Do you want to start from the beginning? I understand that you were locked into the Circle of Hope, which is located in Missouri, and you were there for quite some time. How long were you there for?
4 years.
4 years. Oh my goodness. 1 week is too much. 1 month is too much. Yeah. And I can't even fathom 4 years. Do you want to start from the beginning? How did you end up in this lockdown?
I was a troubled teen. I was into drugs and didn't go to school and got in trouble with the law. So my parents found Circle of Hope online, and I'd been to like other places before, like state facilities and stuff, you know, where you go for like 30 days.
How was that?
It was way better than that place. I mean,
huh? So you have, you could use the phone, you can write letters, you can have visitors.
Yeah, you could watch TV, you know, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted.
Actually, juvenile hall? Was it juvenile hall?
No, I never went to juvie, thank God, but I did like kids with anger issues and mental problems.
Okay.
I sent to a couple places out in Las Vegas.
So it was a mental health facility, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was far better, of course, than Circle of Hope, unfortunately. So let's get into the beginning of it. You had a drug problem. You were in trouble with the law. Did your parents try to do counseling? It sounds like, because you were in a mental health facility. Yeah. What happened after that?
They put me on a bunch of medications and stuff, and I mean, I haven't been on medication since I was 14, so I don't need to be on them.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Do you think maybe you were self-medicating with the drugs?
Yeah, that was definitely a big part of it.
Okay.
But I was adopted by my grandparents when I was 2, so they were a lot older when I was a teenager, and it was a lot harder for them to handle me. I think that played a big part in it as well.
That's terrible. So they really didn't know what to do. It was your grandparents that raised you. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, they came from a different generation, and if something wasn't black and white, maybe they were freaking out more than the norm.
Yeah, I think they definitely went in a completely different direction with me than they did my dad. So,
oh wow!
Either course really worked out, but I think I'm a better person now, so we're good.
When you went to the mental health facility, did they incorporate the whole family? Was it a whole family dynamic, or was it just you they were working on?
Just me. I mean, my parents would come on the weekends to visit. You know, like they'd come for like an hour visit or something, but I was there mostly by myself. But it was only for like 30 days or a couple weeks sometimes.
I'm surprised they didn't include your parents in the conversation with therapy.
No, therapy I was pretty much by myself, but they would like talk to my parents, you know, and like call them and let them know what's going on.
Right. Okay, so when that didn't work, what happened next?
Well, I was homeless for a while, and I eventually went home. A lot of stuff happened. My dad told me that we were taking a trip to Missouri to go. I don't remember exactly what he said, But I think he said we were going to Missouri to go check out this place for teenage girls, and he said I was only going there for evaluation.
Oh no.
So I was like, all right, cool, fun trip to Missouri. Let's go.
Oh.
And we showed up there.
How old were you?
I just turned 14. I just turned 14 in December. And then I have it written down what year I was sent there because I got mixed up. I was sent there January of 2006.
2006, and you were only 14 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get there, and what was this? What was it like?
It was actually pretty quiet. There was nothing around. It was just a girls' home in this big empty field with horse stables and stuff and a barn and yeah. Me and my dad drove in and we pulled in and we went to the office at the time. We're sitting in there and we sat down and my dad and them started talking and he looked at me and goes, "Do you know why you're here?" And I was like, "I'm here for an evaluation." He goes, "No, your dad's dropping you off here."
Oh.
And they told me it was going to be for 6 months, which is cool, but.
And of course, you probably thought it was like the other facility that you were in. You had no idea that it was going to be abusive, of course, or
Yeah.
what it was going to be like. So let me just clarify for the audience. You were raised by grandparents. Then it was dad. Was dad and grandparents living together?
No, I have 4 brothers and sisters. And when I was 2, we were all adopted out into the family. So me and my dad don't have a relationship. Me and my mom do now.
Okay.
But I didn't meet her until 2012, and my real father is awesome.
Until 2012?
Yeah, my dad tried to help me find her, but my mom didn't want me to.
Raised by grandparents, but then you visited your dad for one day, and then he brought you into this place? How'd that go?
Yeah. So, when I say my mom and dad, I mean my grandparents.
Oh.
It gets confusing.
Okay. So
I'll refer to my biological parents by their name. That'll make it easier.
I'll remember now. Mom, dad are really grandparents, and then when you saw your mom for the first time, that was actually your biological mom in 2012. Where was dad? Where's dad?
Dad's in Colorado somewhere.
No relationship with your.
No, I used to have one with him for a couple years. He used to work on oil rigs and stuff out in the ocean, and when he would come into town, he would hang out with me for a couple weeks on my birthday for a couple years, but then he dropped off the face of the earth again.
Oh, that's awful. And how's your relationship now with him?
I haven't talked to him in years.
Wow.
It's been a long time.
So your dad, which is, I understand, Grandpa now, he brings you in what you thought was an evaluation. I'm just recapping. Yeah. What you thought was an evaluation. Now they're saying 6 months to calm you down. And then what happens next?
I cry. My dad leaves.
Oh.
I get taken downstairs to at the time it was a clothes room where they had all the clothes, and they had me take all my clothes off, and they gave me an orange shirt and a jumper to put it on. And then they gave me another shirt and another jumper, and they said that's what I'm going to be wearing while I'm here. And they assigned me to a buddy, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say who it was or not, but it was another girl.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. To a girl.
And I understand exactly what you mean by buddy. So let's just, for the audience, did you have to stand 3 feet behind your buddy at all times?
Yeah, 3 feet in front of her. It had to be, if she put her hand out and she couldn't touch you, she was allowed to call runner, and everyone was allowed to tackle you to the ground.
Okay, that's actually more disturbing because now you have to constantly look behind you to make sure she's right.
He has to be able to constantly be able to touch you and see you.
Right. And you may be walking normal and she just can't keep up. And then you're almost better off behind her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's still degrading.
Yeah.
The thing is degrading, but it's awful. So you would get tackled if you were too far from 3 feet. Can you explain about the tackling? What was that like?
It's happened to me a lot. So,
Oh,
yeah, if a girl is too far away or if a girl's trying to run, everyone starts yelling "runner," and all the girls have to run and tackle her to the ground. It's like a big dog pile.
that's awful. So if you were just a little bitty thing and all these girls were just on top of you, what if you had health issues? They
Yeah,
didn't.
that wasn't a thing there. They didn't believe you.
Right.
If you have health issues.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's awful. They're really putting girls' lives in jeopardy, by doing that. It's awful when they do things like that. But that's just one part of the equation here.
Yeah.
So you're going through this. You're on Buddy. Did they give you lice medicated shampoo when you first entered in?
No.
Some places do that. I wasn't sure. Were there windows in this facility?
Yeah.
Were they locked?
No, nothing was locked.
Nothing was locked. Interesting.
The only thing that was locked was the house's office. And like when we left for church, they'd lock the doors. Nothing was locked. Their theory was because they were in the middle of nowhere that you're not going to run.
And because there's policing going around the whole compound with other girls watching other girls, and you're going to explain all that in a minute with the hierarchy system. So now you're in orange shirt, you're in front of your buddy. What else is going on in this place? Are you hearing screams or?
It was very quiet. Nobody was allowed to talk.
Dorm silence?
Yeah, you weren't allowed to talk unless you raised your hands, and even then it had to be important. If it was not important, you got push-ups. You were allowed to raise your hand to ask questions, to go to the bathroom. That was pretty much it.
So it was what they deemed was important. I remember you would get punished for asking a stupid question. And when I went to a normal school, teachers encouraged you to ask questions because that's how you learn. So how are you supposed to learn unless you ask a question?
Yeah.
And to me, this place was just so foreign and so out in left field, and it was beyond that. It was just highly abusive to punish a child for asking a question.
Yeah.
That's wrong in itself. But again, that is nothing compared to the brutality that went on in this place. I understand that you had to recycle clothes.
Yeah, we got 2 pairs of shirts and 2 jumpers to go through the whole week. I think laundry was Wednesdays and Sundays.
Were you in school with dirty clothes? So the clothes you used to go work out in the field, you had to wear that to school.
Yeah, we wear one outfit from Monday to Wednesday, and then Thursday to Sunday we'd wear another set.
Would it smell?
Yeah, we'd be out shoveling horse poop.
Right.
Working all day long, moving one pile of rocks to another pile of rocks, like just useless stuff, all day long in the heat.
And did you get a paycheck for all of that?
No.
No. So slavery. Basically slaves.
Labor.
Hard labor, child labor. You all were running the place, so laundry helpers, cooking helpers. Yeah. You cooked your food, you did the laundry, the vacuuming, the cleaning, the scrubbing, pulling weeds, landscaping, hard digging out in the field. Yes? Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going through all the things that went on in my school.
Yeah.
It's a sister program, by the way. It's a Lester Roloff program. And are you familiar with Lester Roloff?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you were there for 4 years. I'm sure it was incorporated. Did you ever listen to some of his sermons on tapes, recordings inside?
Uh, we didn't do that, but I do know who he is.
Okay. And you were there at a time where isolation didn't kick, the room of isolation wasn't there
No,
yet.
that was not
Okay.
there while I was there.
Girls would abuse other girls and climb up the hierarchy. Do you want to explain the hierarchy system?
It was a dog eat dog world there. I don't blame any of the girls for anything that ever happened there because they were scared. They were
Exactly.
doing what they were told.
And it's child abuse. It's child
Yeah,
abuse to orchestrate something like that. It's awful.
yeah,
And so that, tell me about the environment. What was the environment like? Did you always feel like you were on edge?
yeah, yeah. Any little thing could set someone off, and you could get in trouble. What they would do is girls would higher shirts could give lower shirts push-ups, and when you're out on work crew, they would write down your tallies of how many push-ups you have to do, so you didn't do them right then, like you do them during showers. So one day I tallied up like 500 push-ups, but for like the dumbest things,
I
like
was going to say, how long were these push-ups for? You're saying 500. Did they scrutinize those push-ups that if you didn't do it right or if it looked like you were too weak, did they add more on? How did that work?
the, well, we had a one-day work crew. We had a work crew one day, and my tallies ended up to like 500 push-ups, and I was fairly new. I couldn't do a push-up to save my life.
Some,
I never done one in my life.
some people can't even do 10 push-ups, and that's a
Yeah,
struggle. Now you're just going into this program, you're not used to it, your body's
yeah,
not trained, you're not trained whatsoever, and now you're doing 500 push-ups?
yeah. So during showers, I had to start my push-ups, and I couldn't do them. I kept falling,
Oh,
so they took me up to brother's office,
oh,
and he was sitting there with his feet up, watching these old Western movies. And he was like, get down and push up position. So I did. And he said, start pushing. And he wasn't even like looking at me. He was just watching TV the whole time. And I kept falling. And he's like, if you fall one more time, we're going to restrain you.
oh my
And
God.
I fell, and I don't know how many other girls were in the room and who all it was. I know my buddy was there.
So all they were doing, those girls that were in the room were watching you? How
Yeah, there was
crazy is that?
other hospice staff and like three other girls, and I kept falling. I fell. I fell again. They all jumped on me at once. They were all from my pressure point, and I said once I stopped screaming and I stopped moving, they would let me up. Well, my finger was twitching like this because they were on my arm, and
Oh
it
no.
wouldn't stop. And so I don't know how long they held me down there, and I was just screaming in agony, and my finger wouldn't stop twitching, so he wouldn't let me up.
That's awful.
Yeah,
I mean, someone
but,
could have a serious medical condition. We've seen it time and time again on what's going on in the media and
yeah,
authorities restraining and people dying. And here
yeah.
you are, children. You're just a 13-year-old, I'm sorry, 14-year-old girl in this compound. And how many people are on you? 4 or 5? Including
Five,
adults,
yeah.
including
Yeah,
including
Miss Steph straddled me and put her knee into my back.
what?
Brother House had an arm on my shoulder and was pushing down on my points back here and holding my arm down.
She
And there
on
was girls on my legs.
Did she put her knee in your spine?
Yeah,
In your spine. I'm a massage therapist. You're not supposed to elbow someone in the spine. You're not supposed to put your knee in someone's spine. Period. Period. That's awful. And that was the welcome packet to this
yeah,
place for you. That's awful. Can you tell me about the bathrooms? Were you dictated to go to the bathroom too?
yeah, yeah. We were allowed to go to the bathroom every 2 hours. But they had the doors open, and they had bathrooms. There was 4 rooms when I was there, and there was a bathroom in between each room on each side, and there was doors connecting it. So you had to keep the doors open when you went to the bathroom, and you were only allowed 4 sheets of toilet paper.
What did they think that you were going to do in the bathrooms that you had to have the doors open?
I don't know. I guess girls have done stuff in the past. I'm not exactly sure. So
I
any
don't
girl
know,
that does something
the
they're not
bathroom
supposed to
except
do,
go to the bathroom.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
That's
mean, I was the reason why a lot of things got changed while we were there. I am one of those girls.
oh.
You know,
But I'm
anything.
sure simple. They were probably just simple things that a normal teenager would do. And so, what are you going to do? Severely punish someone and abusively punish someone? I mean, that's what they were doing. It's awful. So, tell me about the 4 squares of toilet paper. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't just use 4 squares. That's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. You always had stuff left over on your hands.
That's what I was going to say. I want to get into this here because I want to paint a little picture for everybody. As disgusting as it is, I think if you have to go through this, and because this place is still open today and many schools like this, I think the public should know the dirty details of what is going on here. So let's just paint a picture here. You have feces on your hand because 4 pieces of toilet paper is not enough. And that's what's happening to these kids. 4 total, so what, 2 to wipe your rear and 2 for the
Well, if you
front.
had, you could have 4 sheets, and if you needed another 4 sheets, you could have it.
But you're
But
punished.
if you stand up and it's just like a small poop, you would get in trouble.
Now they're checking your bowel movement?
Oh yeah, they wrote them down. If you didn't have a bowel movement within every 3 days, you had to drink milk and magnesia, and that shit gives you diarrhea hard.
That happened. I remember someone saying that in another interview, but that's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous to hear it all the time, how they're checking. Yeah. And it's just an invasion of privacy, too. And as a teenage girl, it's very humiliating and degrading.
Yeah.
But again, this is just one piece of the puzzle here. And then, of course, you were able to wash your hands afterwards, I'm sure. Yeah. Yes. Okay, thank God. But still, that's disgusting. It's disgusting and it's just unsanitary. And plus, your parents were paying probably top dollars to have you in here. And they can't afford toilet paper? Give me a break.
Yeah, right?
Look how much they're profiting. And it's a non-profit organization, correct?
Yeah.
Not even though I know the answer, I'm going over it again just because I want the audience to know. By the way, let me remind you, this is a non-profit organization, so they're really profiting off of this place. Okay, so dictating when you can and cannot go to the bathroom. People go to the bathroom at different times. It's all how you were designated. So what happens if I really had to go? Do I wet my pants? What happens?
There have been some girls that had to go really bad and were told no, and they wet themselves, and they got in a lot of trouble for that because it was attention seeking.
Oh my God.
And if you're on work crew, if you had to go to the bathroom within the 2-hour mark before the 2 hours was up, you would be put in push-up position until the 2-hour mark was up.
Oh my God.
Until it was time to go to the bathroom if you asked to go.
That's awful. So you couldn't even ask to go to the bathroom if it wasn't that great. That's awful to do that to a child. It's awful every time I hear it. Have you witnessed anyone vomiting and having to eat their own vomit? Did you have to experience that as well? Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry.
I've witnessed it happening to other girls. I've witnessed Brother House. This girl threw up in her plate, and he picked it up and smacked it into her face.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's awful.
She was new. Like, she was there a couple days when that happened.
And of course, when you're new, you're nervous. You're nervous.
Wait, I didn't go pee for like a week after I got there. Like, my bladder, like, they had to go the store and get me stuff to help me pee. Because I seriously, like, I was in so much pain because I just couldn't pee in front of people, and the stress of being there, I just couldn't do it, and it was horrible. I remember my first pee, it was so long, it was like 11 minutes long, like, that's how it felt.
And so, I'm sorry, they took you to the doctor for this?
No, they went to the store, and they got, like, a lot of juice and stuff for me to drink. They even gave me milk and magnesia, thinking that was gonna help.
What?
Like, it was the dumbest thing ever. Like, they went to the store and got a lot of what's that juice that helps you with like a urinary tract infection?
Oh yes. I know what you're talking. Cranberry juice.
Cranberry juice. Yeah, they made me drink a bunch of cranberry juice and drink milk and magnesia, which I don't know why they did that because I couldn't pee.
I know. That's crazy. Which brings me to my next question. Was there any medical staff on
No.
No. Okay. And then they refused to take you to the doctor.
Yeah, I didn't go to the doctor the entire time I was there. I did go to the dentist.
Repeat that again. You were there for 4 years. I just want the audience to know this. You were there for 4 years. How many times did you go to the doctor?
0.
0. How many times did you go to the dentist?
I got my teeth redone, so like 4 times.
4
I
times.
took fillings. My parents paid for it, and Miss Steph took me into town to the dentist. But while I was there, the first appointment, I think I was like a pink shirt, and when we got home, boss called me up into the office, and he demoted me to a black shirt because the dentist told me that I told him that I was going to go back to the girls' home and strangle myself with dental floss.
What?
I never said that, but Miss told whether the dentist told her that I said that.
What?
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing ever.
I don't think the dentist said that.
I don't think he did either. I think he was trying to get me in trouble.
She's so evil. That is so evil to lie. And they're supposed to be Christian and not lying is part of being a Christian. That's all.
I was called the N-word one time. He was screaming in her face, and he called her the N-word. She was a mixed girl.
That's awful.
She said that I said that if they took me back there, I was going to strangle myself with dental floss.
Oh my!
I was going to kill myself.
Oh
so I was putting suicide wash, and I was putting a black shirt.
That's ridiculous. Okay, so let's explain to the audience that a black shirt is the lowest of the lowest you can go.
Yeah.
How do girls treat you in this place when you're a black shirt, and how does staff treat you in this place?
Not good. I was made to pick up dogs with my bare hands. Like, the owners had this chihuahua that would just roam around and everywhere, and I had to go around the house and pick all the dog with my bare hands and throw it away.
Wow.
And then I told on the girl for doing it, and he was like, "What do you expect? You're a black shirt."
So he's consenting to it. He's the problem of the abuse in the first place. So that doesn't surprise me. Let me remind the audience that this place is still open today. I'm going to say this numerous times throughout this interview because it's despicable. What else did you have to do being a black shirt?
Your work duty. You do the dirtiest jobs, and you're made to work longer than the other girls. Like on Sundays, you'd come home and go to work. Before we started staying at the church, if you were a black shirt, when you would come home from church on Sundays, you would be made to go out and do the work. Same thing on Wednesdays when we come home from church. Or no, because we'd go to church later in the day on Wednesdays. It was Sundays.
Sunday. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you able to go to school as a black shirt, or is that no school when you're the wall?
I don't remember doing schoolwork pretty much when I'm a black shirt. You're outside working. You're outside working when the other girls are doing schoolwork. You'd wake up at 6 a.m., go out and do chores, come in, read the Bible for like an hour, and then go back out to work while everyone else did school. And then you come back in for lunch around 1. And then after lunch, you go back outside and wouldn't come back in till like 6 or 7.
Wow. And how long was school when you weren't a black shirt?
Not very long. Like
2 hours?
Like 3 hours out of the day, and then you go outside and work.
That was pretty much the same with us. It was about 3 hours.
Yeah. School was not a top priority there.
Right. Same with us.
It wouldn't matter because you can't transfer the credits. All that work was there.
Exactly. And that's awful. I don't know if you heard the interview with what happened was her parents called in and requested the transcripts, and she didn't say anything about school or anything, just the parents just wanted the transcripts. And
Yeah.
they didn't give it to her because it's a big fat zero. They weren't able to do it. So they tried to pull her out and take her out, and she was held hostage. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't remember that happening.
Yeah, she was actually held hostage. I'll go ahead and send you that. But
Okay.
and this is the Circle of Hope. They
Yeah.
would not give her up to the parents, and the parents had to call the police department, which means
Oh,
that's
wow.
documented.
The first time I ran away, I ran away with this other girl, and we made it to the roundabout in Humansville up onto the freeway, and this car was driving back down with like 4 guys in it, and they asked if we needed help, and we said yes. They took us back to their house, and he called his ex-wife and his daughter to come over and help bring us clothes and stuff. And the girl that I ran away with, her mother lived close, so she came and picked her up. But my parents lived in Vegas, so that wasn't possible. So I was there for like 2 days, and I went into town and stole a box of chocolate Pop-Tarts, because you don't get sweets there. And I was like, chocolate Pop-Tarts. And I saw the cops pull in, and I ran out the back door and ran through this field, and I was like, I'm not getting anywhere. So I just stopped, and the cop came and handcuffed me and took me back to the police car, and I told him everything that was going on, and he's like, I believe you. He's like, there's just nothing I can do about it. And they took me back to the girls' home.
That's awful. I don't understand that. There's nothing I can do about it. You're reporting child abuse. So tell me, do you know how much money your parents were paying every month to keep you in this facility?
I think it was $1,100 a month.
$1,100 a month. Okay.
I think that's what it was.
There was other survivors that claimed that he was asking for uniform money and flag money, and there was no flag, no uniforms, and you were
shampoo and conditioner, even though everything was donated and they like never bought anything. They'd ask for like toiletry money and stuff like that.
They probably had enough toilet paper too. They probably had plenty and plenty of toilet paper that was donated. It's awful.
Fine during the pandemic.
What's that?
So they're doing fine during the pandemic.
I hate to ask you this. You were there for 4 years. How many times did you vomit, and how many times did they make you eat it?
There was one time I ate a cookie I wasn't supposed to. Even though everyone got a cookie, I was on a no-talk wristband. Even though I was a pink shirt, I wasn't allowed to have sweets. But everyone got a cookie, and nobody said anything because the plates are pre-made. And you walk up and you grab one. And so I grabbed one, ate the cookie. No one said anything. Someone went and told the owner.
Oh, no.
He called me up into the office. He had his wife drive to town, and they bought like 10 bags, like the big bags of candy, you know, that you buy for Halloween.
Right.
Brought him back, and he made me eat one bag and then drink a pitcher of water.
Oh my God.
Bag, drink a pitcher of water, and it just went on. And eventually I threw up, and he's like, now, next time you won't eat those sweets, will you?
Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah, like my stomach hurt so bad.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I lost so much weight when I got there.
Go ahead.
I lost so much weight when I got there that they started keeping track of girls' weights. They would weigh you once a day and write it down in this log. And if you got below a certain weight, they would put you on triple portions, which is you get your food plus 3 bowls of cold oatmeal that you would have to eat on top of your meal. And I couldn't even stand up. My stomach hurt so bad.
That's awful. I'm surprised you didn't profusely vomit after that, too.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And let's just remind the audience that psychological damage is just as torturous as physical. So all this time, so yes, you were forced to eat your vomit one time that you were there in 4 years. But those
Yeah.
4 years, in your head, you were saying to yourself, please don't make me vomit. Please don't make me vomit. I don't want to vomit. I don't want to vomit. This is going on in your head the whole time, survival mode. And that's awful to do to a child because now you have that in your head the whole time that you're there.
Actually, I vomited another time. It was, we were out on work crew, and like nobody else saw it because it happened so fast. We were walking, and there's three of us walking, and I was like standing a little bit behind them. I was a higher shirt, and we were just walking, and I just like hurried, like I didn't even feel it coming. I just like threw up on the ground, and like I made sure nobody saw me, and I just kept walking.
Isn't it sad that you can't even do a human function without getting punished for it? And let's just remind the audience that the person that told on you about the cookie was actually a student of the school, right? So they're teaching other girls in the school, and you were always on edge. So it wasn't just the staff that were watching you; it were the girls, and they were in the dorms, and you couldn't get away. That's why no one would be able to run away.
I ran away 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah. They called me Kuhan Luke while I was there because I ran away the most. You know, the guy from Alcatraz that ran away. Yeah.
And you knew you were going to be there for 4 years at that point when you started running.
Actually, told me my parents signed me over till I was 19. And I was so young, and I didn't know the laws. I thought that was like a real thing. So I really thought I was going to be there until I was 19. That's what Brother House said.
You felt like you had nothing to lose because you were going to be there for so long. So you just felt like, why not run?
Yeah. One time I got tackled. One time I got caught right when I got out the door, but the other 3 times, the last time I actually got away. But the other 2 times I made it into town.
Okay, so the other time a cop sent you back.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Okay, that's the first time. Another time you were tackled.
Actually, let's back up. The first time I ran away, the lady that I was staying with called CYS when the cops took me back. And they came out and to interview us to figure out what was going on.
Okay.
And called us all up into the living room, and he made us repeat over and over and over again what we did that day. Like, we had a good breakfast. We stayed inside and did school. You know, we had a big lunch, big dinner. You know, like, it was different. And he made us repeat over and over and over again what we did that day and how the day went. And he said, if any of you are caught lying, you know what's going to happen. So he was scaring us into submission is what he was doing. And when I got interviewed by the lady, I told her everything that was going on. And she said, with this information, you'll be home in 2 weeks. I was dumb enough to tell another girl what she said. The girl told Brother, called the agency. The lady came back out with her supervisor, okay? Called me up into the office, and they were sitting there, and Brother looked at me, and he goes, tell me what you said she said. So I did. And she looked at her supervisor, and she said, I never said that.
Oh,
and I knew I was screwed right then. That was after the first time I ran away, and I was like, I'm stuck here for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's awful. And so, of course, you wanted to run away after that.
Yeah.
Because if CPS or, you know, the authorities can't help you, who's going to help you except you? That's so sad. And I hope someone's listening. I hope CPS is listening. I hope the authorities are listening so they can do something about it. And it's just awful. Like, have some integrity. And maybe a lot of them do. Maybe their hands are tied behind their back. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think we need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
And there is power in numbers. We need help because this is a problem in this country. And the only way to make a change is to make some noise. And we're going to make noise. So you ran away 4 times. One time you were tackled. The other time the authorities brought you back. What else happened?
The third time I ran away by myself, and I contacted the people that I stayed with before because I remembered their phone number, and they took me in for a couple of days, and actually went with them to like their cousin's wedding while I stayed with them, and
Oh,
then the the woman that took us in, her husband actually called the girls home, and the cops came and picked me back up and took me back.
even after you told that family you were being abused in there?
Yeah, he's divorced, and he wasn't there for most of it, but he was like, "This, she shouldn't be here. She needs," because everyone there knows about the girls' home. You know,
Everyone knows about the girls' home.
yeah, everyone knows. Like in town, if you see girls walking around with colored shirts on and skirts and stuff, to call the girls' home because we're probably from there.
Oh
Like,
my God, that's awful.
yeah,
So everybody's prepped in the town.
that's why the first time I ran away, I stole pants before I left so I could put them on.
This is dark, and this is somehow legal in the United States of America. Because if it wasn't legal, it wouldn't be open, and it's open. So it's legal to abuse children in the U.S., evidently. How many times a day would you say girls would get tackled in this place?
Uh, uh, while I was there, it happened quite a few times, but most of the time it happened in brother office. So there's brother house's office, and then the dining room was right underneath it. So you always knew when a girl was getting tackled because the floors were like that thin, and you could hear people walking around upstairs. You could hear them yell at anyone or everyone. You know, there was no privacy when that stuff happened. You knew it was happening, but.
What kind of associations do you have when you hear screaming and then you hear somebody saying a prayer before a meal, which is usually the staff that were abusing the children? They're saying a prayer, they're quoting scripture, you're hearing screams, somebody's playing the piano and it's a hymnal. What kind of triggers do you have with Christianity today?
I don't go to church. Uh,
Understandable.
yeah, I don't believe in that. I mean, I believe that there is a higher power, but I don't believe that you need to go to church or read the Bible to be able to feel spiritual.
Right. And it really is about your spirituality anyway. What good is sitting in a pew if you're abusing children? It's really about your spiritual walk. And
He would tell us all the time that, you know, when we leave, we're gonna go to hell because we're sinners, and that like if we weren't ready to leave and we were being bad and we wanted to leave, he'd be like, if you left right now, you'd go to hell because you just go right back to your old ways. You know, like it was drilled into us. We were definitely brainwashed while we were there. I didn't know anything about the world when I got out. I didn't know what Facebook was. I didn't like the world was completely different when I got out because we were just shut in there. We weren't allowed to watch TV. We weren't allowed to talk to our parents about anything worldly.
What happens if you were to say, talk about a friend of yours in the outside world, or talk about a song that you heard on the radio, or talk about the news? What were the consequences for that?
They'd hang the phone up and we get in trouble. They'd cut we wouldn't even be allowed to say bye. Like, just hang the phone up without saying anything.
If you were to talk to another girl in the school about a song on the radio, a movie that you saw maybe 3 years ago, an artist,
get in trouble.
The word pants.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd get in trouble. You'd be put in push-up position for hours or given a bunch of push-ups, up-downs, you know.
So freedom of speech. Could you talk about Buddhism?
No.
No, absolutely not. What about the evolution theory?
No.
No.
Nope. Only thing you talk about was Baptist. The only way.
Bible, King James.
Yeah, King James version, not the new King James version, because apparently that's different. Even though they were both written, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It was just another world. It was like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And everybody beat to the same drum. And if you didn't beat to the same drum, you were abused.
Yeah.
That's sad because Christianity is supposed to be about free will. There's no free will in this place. If you wanted to make a decision on your own, you can't make a decision on your own. Because now you're a heathen. Now you're mingling with the devil.
Yeah.
And now you're labeled. What happens if you were gay in this compound? What are some of the things that they would do?
I was gay while I was there, and I was considered bisexual. And if we were, I was told everyone that if we were caught, if we were caught looking at each other, we were to be tackled to the ground.
That's awful because human nature is to just look around you. And
I'm not even sexual. I don't even know where they got that from. Like that's just what they told everyone.
oh no.
Yeah, and I have nothing against that. I'm
Right.
saying, like, I don't know where that
But
started from.
Pounds, you're an outcast if
Yeah.
that's the case. And that's why I said, oh no. I said, oh no, because I know what the consequences are in these compounds. Because I was in one of these compounds and it's scary if you are. And I want to convey to the audience that you can't even be who you are in this place.
Yeah.
Because if you are, you're a target. You're already a target already. But now it's even worse. And it's so sad to segregate someone like that and make someone feel that they're unaccepted to society, to this compound, to God. It's sad. What else would they do? Would they humiliate them or call them names?
He would have what's called a family meeting, and he would have all the girls come upstairs in the living room, and he'd like go through all the write-ups and stuff, and he'd make you do your push-ups in front of the girls, or he'd scream at you and spit in your face.
Oh my God. Again, this compound is still open today. What was the first time you had an outside visitor in this place, by the way?
A year after I was there.
What?
Yeah.
A year?
My mom and dad came out. Or no. Yeah, a year after I was there, my mom and dad came out. And they came out for a 3-day visit, but it had to be on property, and they were only allowed there certain hours of the day.
In juvenile hall, you're at least 2 visits a week.
Yeah, and you had to have a staff member with you at all times.
Right, which means you can't say they're abusing us in this place.
When I was 16, my parents came out for an off-campus visit. I was able to go hang out with them, but I had to be brought back at nighttime. I told my mom what was going on. She took me home, and a month later, they sent me back.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
So you told your parents what is going on in this place. They believed you, right? Because you stay there. Did they think about getting you counseling at this point? Because you obviously need counseling.
Yeah. I was really messed up.
Sure.
I went home and
oh,
it was horrible. So my dad sent me.
Is that what was happening?
Huh?
Did you try to self-medicate? Is that what was happening? So instead of getting you help, you're resorting to self-medication. Did they trick you into it? How did they do it?
I got in trouble with the police, so they were like, we're going to send you back. So the day before I had to leave to go to the airport, we stayed the night at my aunt's house. And my aunt was like, I'm cool, you know? So she's like, you want some pills, man? And I was like, yeah. And it was a sleeping pill.
Oh, no.
She was like, it's a Xanax. And it wasn't a Xanax. And it was a really heavy sleeping pill. So they drugged me so that I couldn't run away. My friend was actually supposed to come pick me up at my aunt's house, and I told my aunt that, and I shouldn't have done that.
Did they not believe you because you were going back to those ways again?
Yeah.
And which has no bearing on child abuse. You're just trying to cope, but they didn't see it that way. So they probably thought, well, if she's using again, then all of that's probably made up just to get out of the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was it. Because I just can't see a parent sending their child back after you just said that you were being abused. Tell me about the letters. Were they censored, the letters? Going?
Yeah.
Could you write if you wanted to? Let's say you wanted to write a friend that was at home. Could you write a friend? No.
All the parents.
Just the parents, the ones that threw you into the place.
When I first got there, my parents had just bought me a dog, which was kind of stupid in hindsight because they were sending me away. But I wrote my dog a letter, like a week it being there, like my dog Jojo. And I was like, Mom, can you put it in her cage so she can sleep with it? And like called me up to the office and was like, you don't need to be doing that. And he like ripped it up and threw it in the trash.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
14.
awful.
And I was like,
your dog.
I was like, what is it? You're a monster.
And yet we're laughing about it, but you know what? When you really think about it,
I was 14.
That's how nuts this place is. When you can't even write your dog a letter. And you're just a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's so sad. It's just the one joy that you might.
Yeah. You know, it's all about knocking you down.
You were trying to just escape, release, and then talking to your dog, and you couldn't even do that. It's awful.
I actually have some letters that I wrote my parents, and like every single letter looks exactly the same.
Right. I believe you.
It all starts.
You can't talk about how they're abusing you. You can't talk about family relationships.
You can talk about church, God, the Bible, what you did that day, if it's okay to say that.
Right.
You know?
If it's approved. And here's the thing. I just want the audience that doesn't know about what kind of world this is. You couldn't talk about real issues. So how are you going to fix a family if you can't say, hey, you know what? This really sucks that I'm in here. Or why did you lock me in this place? You know, you can't talk about what it's like in this place. You can't talk about maybe your relationship, what it was like before you got locked up. Hey, I'm mad at you, or, you know, let's work on this together. You couldn't be real. So if you can't be real and you have to be fake, how are you going to fix anything? And it's not just this school. I want the audience to know there's 100,000 schools plus in the United States of America that are just like this one that we're talking about.
When I was sent back, Brother House wouldn't let my mom come and visit me anymore. It was my dad was the only one that was allowed to come and visit me.
Why wasn't your mom allowed to?
Because she's the one that convinced my dad to take me home.
Oh.
Yeah, so for the rest of the time,
no more paycheck for him. So of course he's going to be mad. He wants he wants that paycheck coming in.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Terrible. So I'm wondering if your mom still wanted you there, and it was just solely your father at that point, because you took
mom and my dad at that time, but I don't want to risk it because me being taken out again.
Praying in that direction at one point.
Yeah.
That's really sad to keep families apart from each other like that. I mean, that's the whole point of these programs. They're supposed to be to help families, and they're tearing families apart. You're lucky. You're lucky that your family, you know, and these are choices that you made too. You looked past that. You have a relationship with them now. And
first got out of the girls' home, I got back on drugs, and I was homeless for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And then I got pregnant with my son, and everything changed for me, and I straightened up.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that was the best thing that happened to you.
Yeah. As soon as I heard his heartbeat on the monitor, I quit doing everything.
Oh.
I went home. Yeah.
That's an awesome story. Did you ever get therapy?
Huh?
Did you ever get therapy after the trauma at Circle
No.
No. But you were able to talk to Mom? Were you able to talk to Mom?
Yeah. When I got home, none of my stuff was at the house. Like, my parents got rid of all of my stuff. So that was hard, coming home to an empty room, and like this, like it was like I came home to be a guest. Like they put me up in the guest room, and I had nothing there, and it was very
Right.
awkward at first because I'd been away from them for so long,
Right.
and I didn't know how to talk to them, you know. So I just resorted to going out and doing dumb stuff because I didn't know how to deal.
Oh. And that was when you got back from the Circle of Hope. And
Yeah.
then that's when you
Last time
became
I ran
homeless.
away.
Huh?
Yeah. The last time I ran away was when I actually finally escaped and got home.
And then you were homeless for 3 years.
Yeah.
You were homeless for 3 years. Then you had a baby, your son.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you moved back in with your parents?
Yeah.
Or did you go? You did. Okay. That's awesome. And then from there, you rebuilt everything.
Yeah. It was all uphill from there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
And so you were able at that point to confide in with your mom, and that was your way
My mom
of
got really close after I got pregnant.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy for you. Good. And see, most of these places tear down families. So it's a rarity when something like that happens. And I'm so happy for you. That's fantastic. And I'm just reminding the audience of that because if you're contemplating sending your child to one of these places, that could be a good possibility that it will ruin your relationship with your child. And I just want to get that message across. Is there anything that you would like to tell the audience of any kind of red flags, what to look for in any of these places? If they're contemplating sending their child to a conversion therapy, boot camp for kids, wilderness program, a rehabilitation program, what would be the alternatives that you would suggest?
Send them to a state-run program.
What program? State-funded program?
A state-funded place. I mean, any place you go to as a teenager like that is going to suck, but all the state-funded places that I went to were a hell of a lot better than that place.
And they're being watched. You know, there's oversight.
You get more help. You get counseling. You get to deal with your stuff, whether you want to be there or not. But at the girls' home, you're stuck there, and you have no way out, and they don't help you at all.
And you're somebody's property.
Yeah.
Pretty much their property.
Yeah, at least a state-funded place, your parents can come and get you. And you can leave, you know.
You have visits and normalcy and letters and basic human rights. So that's perfect. So I feel that one of your coping mechanisms is your children. You're giving everything that you wanted for yourself to your children. Maybe what was taken away from you, you give wholeheartedly to your children. Do you want to talk about coping mechanisms?
Yeah, they're awesome. I wouldn't be here without my kids.
Oh.
That happened. I don't even know how to explain. I'm going to start crying.
It's almost like they're your angels that saved you. I feel.
Yeah.
They're really your angels. Oh. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
You cry.
It's cool.
They are your angels, and I'm so happy you're at a good place. I'm so thankful that you were able to quit using drugs, and I understand you were only self-medicating, but they fill that void. They fill that void for you. That's awesome.
My life is, I never thought I'd be here. I have a wonderful husband. I got 4 annoying, beautiful little children.
Oh, but they're your angels, and they saved you. That's so awesome. Good. How long have you been with your husband, if you don't mind me asking?
Be 4 years in November.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Show. I appreciate you and being brave to tell your story. Thank you, Alley, for being on the show, Pieces of Victory, and being brave enough to tell your story of what happens behind closed doors at the Circle of Hope Girls Ranch located in Missouri. If you have a 1% chance that this could happen to your child, why would you even take that risk? My name is Janine Miller, and this is Pieces of Victory.